Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back to some more Serbia Enthusiasm in Victoria 3. How is everybody doing? Let's get the good luck charm out of the way first. Hello, me. The good luck charm out of the way first. Hello, me. Hey, right back at you, buddy. Hello, hello. Hey, Sharky boy, how you doing? Hello, hello. How is everything? Hope all is well. Really enjoyed your Victoria 3 video that you made. Or not, well, many of them that you made, but the most recent one you had. Everybody should go check out Sharky Boy Gaming when you have a chance for some very good Victoria 3 content. I hope all is well. Hey, LaPlace, how are you? Hello, hello. How are you doing? Hope you had a good weekend. We are back. It always seems so long between Thursday's Victoria 3 session and this one. But we are continuing. Kind of forgot the Hearts of Iron 4 content. Yeah, that Hearts of Iron 4 stream on Friday. That was fun. That was a good one. And we'll be doing it again this Friday. I started making for so I will hit the 1K soon and start getting ad revenue. Yeah, nice. Yes, everybody go subscribe to Sharky Boy Gaming for some good Victoria 3 content. Do it now. Do it now. All right, what are we doing in this game? So, something I realized at the end of the previous episode last week. Picking US is not really a friendly nation. Yeah, I mean, so for Hearts of Iron 4, yeah, because I'm not going to do a full run of Hearts of Iron 4 actually, because this Friday will be the last time I'm doing Hearts of Iron 4. It was really just to try it out, because we have All Under Heaven coming out next week, and so we'll be doing that on Fridays. But with our run here in Serbia, so it's very possible we might reach the end of the run tonight, right now, in this session. If not, then we'll finish up the Serbia run tonight. And our next run will be over here with New Granada into Colombia. But I realized at the end of the last episode, I've had some weird employment problems here, which I've been finding very annoying. And I found out why. Even with 3,000 hours of Hearts of Iron 4, not anyone knows about the Navy. Yeah, that's interesting. That's what everyone was saying during the stream, too, that the Navy's a difficult thing to figure out. Well, I accept the challenge. That's what I love the most about Paradox games, is trying to figure things out that doesn't make any sense. At least on the surface. But you'll notice here, so we have states with stuff like this, 40,000 peasants, 217,000 unemployed, and yet hiring problems in almost every building. And I was trying to figure out why this was, and I found out that one of the hotfixes addressed a bug when it comes to building employment. And in one of the comments on the post about the hotfix, one of the devs confirmed that the hotfix you can still play your save games. It won't brick your save, but the bug fix won't take effect until you start a new game. And I kind of remembered we started this Serbia run the day, or maybe it was the day after National Awakening came out. So this save was started before any hotfixes and has been played through about 5 or 6 of them, whatever we're up to at this point. So we've been really hampered by all of this employment problems, and so it turns out it's actually a bug. So good to know our next session that starts either tonight or on Thursday with New Granada won't have that issue. But unfortunately, we will have that issue in the rest of this Serbia run. By the way, do you attend the No Kings protest yesterday? I saw it on CNBC and ABC, the live feeds. Yeah, no, it was. I was really happy to see it. I did not get to attend it. I used to go to a lot of those things, and now I find it difficult to justify going to with two young kids. Um, and so I tend not to go to those things now. Maybe not until they're a little older, because there's a very strong possibility of things going very sideways, and I wouldn't want a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old there. Another news: the Dodgers going to the World Series against the Blue Jays. Oh, Canada versus USA. Huh? So the Toronto Blue Jays made it to the World Series, huh? Well, well, well. That'll be an interesting showdown, Canada versus USA. Hey, Maximilian, hello, hello. I used to be a protester, then I took an arrow to the knee. Don't take the kids to... Yeah, yeah. Wait, is that an arrow to the knee? That's quite a protest right there. Yeah. I don't... my protesting days, when they're older and can somewhat protect themselves if need be. Protests these days are a little different than they have been. Oh, that's a Skyrim reference. I was like, what? You never know. You never know these days. Stranger things have happened. Oh, Skyrim. Hey, oh yeah, hello. I don't know how you can be so calm about these bugs. Yeah. Yeah, the bugs can be tiresome, but I mean, the bug is fixed. The problem is I don't want to abandon a run because of a bug. I'm going to channel your energy when my Iberian mod comes out and it's all borked for a month after the release. Oh man. Wait, you're saying, are you making an Iberian mod? That's cool. We got oh, the Iberian DLC. That's right. Yeah. Iberian Twilight. Yeah. We just got to expect some of those bugs. Rock since the time of King Otto, who is in the game. I know, right? That's going to be a future stream we do, Greece, when we come back around. Each DLC seems to break some economic system for some reason. It does, right? It really does. The hiring thing is particularly difficult because we're losing all of this stuff. We're losing all this GDP, and we have a bunch of people who like have low standard of living because of it. Back then, we were fighting Bavarian line infantry, now Greek riot police. Yeah, 6.9 salt, exactly, because I have massive amounts of peasants and unemployment because they can't seem to be hired into buildings. Like 133,000 unemployed with all of these buildings not hiring. So we'll go through this one by one. Maybe we can... I saw somebody post that if you just go through and subsidize buildings, it'll be a workaround. For the rest of this run, I was thinking about what we should be aiming for. We could make our main goal to get independence against Great Britain, but you know, I really do want this achievement. So I think we'll still lean into being a subject of Great Britain and using their military power and trying to go after Saxony again with Germany. Now, one of the problems is we have 8 more years of bankruptcy. So April 1920 is when we can do it again, which is fine because we do need to fix our economy quite a bit here. Hey, Strider Sword, hello, morning back to you. Go for Yugoslavia as a secondary goal. Yeah, that was one of the secondary goals. See, the problem is we have to be Serbia in order to, when we take Saxony, in order to get the achievement. And so one of the original goals of the run was to do the Serbia achievement and then go for forming Yugoslavia. I fear we won't have enough time. If we do get this achievement, then we'll work as hard as we can to try to get Yugoslavia. But yeah, I should start a Save My Disaster campaign. Yeah, well, I mean, this one is largely because of some bugs. So we're just gonna have to work past the bugs. Which, you know, living in New York City apartments, I'm used to that kind of thing. Work around the bugs. Sounds good. This seems like a tough run. Yeah, this was a tough run. I think some of these bugs made it tougher, but I also think just in general we had some difficult circumstances to overcome. Bankruptcy and losing 72K a week. Yikes. Yeah, so let's take a look at that. Let's get this going here. So we're going to a new taxation law. That will help. Let's see what we're losing here. So military goods. We're spending quite a bit on that. Let's take a look at what we're taxing and everything. So that won't give us extra authority. So we can down that. We can go to this for now. Spending 100 authority to get 560. Yeah, so we'll do luxury furniture. Give us a little bit extra. 100 to get 1.3. Okay. All right. So paper, government admin buildings. We can definitely cut down on the government admin. So let's do that. We cut down just on the paper, but we don't need as many. So let's take a look at where we have all of them. So we have 9 in Dalmatia. We probably don't need that much. Yeah, we're well over taxation capacity. So we can downsize probably like half of these. I always forget that's going to happen. Well, let's take a look here. Yeah, we can cut a little bit more. And a little bit more. All right, that's good. Which is another big one. Nobody's working. Yeah. Well, so did you hear my bit at the beginning? We are suffering from a bug here. So there was a bug about building employment that was fixed in a one of the hotfixes. But in the comments, the devs had addressed how the hotfix, you can still play your save game, but the bug fix for the employment won't take effect until you start a new save. So you can see here we have like 40,000 peasants, 217,000 unemployed, but yet nobody is hiring. So we'll address that. Somebody had posted how you can start subsidizing buildings to get them employed and then cut that off. But first, we're going to cut down on things that we can before we start doing that. Serb, Montenegro. Let's see what we need here. If Greece had the same GDP it had in 2008 adjusted for inflation and with no economic growth for 16 years, we'd still have twice our current economy size, from 280 to 550 billion. Oh, that's wow. Okay. Remind me, how much taxation capacity do we get here? So we get 15. We can probably cut down on like 1. Does Bosnia need this much? It does not. So we'll cut that down. All right, so I think this is probably the most we can really cut down. I mean, honestly, does Serb Montenegro need more? Actually, also, okay, so another thing is, we'll lose, how much bureaucracy? We're getting 9, 10. Oh, we're actually below bureaucracy now. I cut a little bit too much. I was looking more at taxation capacity and not this. Okay, we'll address that later. Now, let's start taking a look at... Well, let's start here. This will cut things down. Let's get this state a-working. And then we'll cut all these things off after they hire the people up. Oh yeah, first, yeah, all of these munitions plants, because we're paying an arm and a leg for munitions right now. So let's unpause now. We'll take this slowly, because I don't want to do too much of that here. So I will stay here watching Hamcuts playing Paradox games until they hire me in the public sector. Yeah, that's right. Especially if it's Serbia. Especially if it's me in charge of Serbia. Your private sector jobs will definitely or public sector jobs will definitely be lucrative. Alright. Let's take this quickly here, because I want to... Academics in the payroll of the government have founded village schools across the countryside of eastern Serbia. These village schools seek to increase literacy rates and foster a sense of Serbian national identity amongst the peasantry. Yeah, we don't want to take any more government expenses, so we'll take that. Let's take a look at this, because we're paying a lot for munitions. I should have just accepted it there. Yeah, we're out of influence. Kadijevic has suddenly died while drafting legislation of the proportional taxation law. Yeah, we'll take the success chance. So, you know, that's true. I should not sleep on the resources as well. I'm just going to start doing it here, because we need whole sections to be hiring. So, let's, yeah, this, you know what? I should start with the resources. So we'll do iron, coal, and lead. And logging, get people going. We're going to go into some massive debt here in order to do this, but it is what it is. Such are bugs. Now, what's wrong with these guys? They really don't like commercialized agriculture, huh? So it has nothing to do with our taxation law that we're doing. We could get off of a monarchy, and they would like it. Collectivized agriculture. And nobody's happy. Alright, let's keep an eye on hiring here. We'll use the iron mines as a guide. So, like, if we look at Bosnia... Yeah, we have, like, plenty of people there. Oh, yeah, let's only take a look at our buildings. So when we look at Western Serbia, yeah, we have like 34,000 peasants here. Go to 5 speed, get this moving. Let's take a look at the lead. Ah, okay. So in Kosovo, we're out of people there, so we don't need to subsidize that one. Alright, so let's slow it down. And so we have plenty of people. For the lead. Now, what's going on with the munitions plants? This is extremely annoying, I can tell you. Yeah, of course, now these munitions are super cheap. Alright, so now we'll take subsidies off of this. And now we'll do the glass works, because they'll also use up that lead. Hey, Peter! Hello, hello! How are you? How are you? Good to see you. 6.9 soul, even living in Africa, much better than Serbia. Yeah, well, if people can't get hired in buildings and they don't have work, you're gonna have a very high or very low standard of living. All right, so Western Serbia is out of people, so we're gonna stop subsidizing stuff here. Good. Have a few hours before going on a night shift. Oh, nice, nice. Well, I'm glad you you decided to stop on in with us and watch along. I appreciate it. Yeah, let's get although I suppose what I really should do is subsidize these railroads to keep that going. Yeah, I think this, man, this run has really gotten killed by this employment thing. Alright, now, where's another high unemployment state? Over here. So now... Did he smash his head into the cell wall? Was he tortured to death? The official story that the trade unions... affiliated revolutionary died from cholera convinces only the gullible and the willfully blind. Only one thing is for certain. His supporters are livid and they're out for blood. Oh, Well, we'll take this one because the communist movement is already in revolution. So let's take a look at this. Hmm. Who would support this? The Ottomans and the Belgians. Yeah, no one's leaning towards a communist movement. Okay. Oh, and how many soldiers do they have? So like 13. So we'll just activate one army here. Call it a day. Alright, so we're doing okay there in terms of employment. Alright, so what are we subsidizing now again? Yeah, textiles, coal shipyards, glassworks, motor industries. Okay, so now it looks like things are getting hired up a little bit more, so we can stop doing what we were doing before. Oh, we got the Twitch bot. Hello, Twitch bot. Goodbye. All right. And now what else are we doing again? Coal, coal, lead, and logging. Yeah, so we can get rid of the rest of those. All right. Of course, now we're at a massive amount of interest payments. I never asked, but why do we keep kicking the Twitch bot? And what does it do? Yeah, it doesn't really do anything. It's more just, I find it annoying to see there. That's the only reason why. Ormo people are being attacked and killed by some members of the Serbian people in Bosnia. Ooh, man. Okay. If we lose 5%... Yeah. Well, how many of these people are there here? About 19K? I'd rather not lose the authority. Who brings the Twitch bot? I have no idea. I have no idea. I assumed it was just, you know, one of those things that pops up on its own. I don't think any person is doing it. Ooh, what are we subsidizing? Oh yeah, that railway. Yeah, we really can't afford to do that. We're going to take that off. 5 countries, Australia, France, Great Britain, Greece, and Switzerland have participated in every Summer Olympic Games since the modern Olympics began in 1896. Greece is the only one of those that have competed under its own flag in every single one. Oh, that's interesting. What brought that on? What made you point that out? Yeah, so we're also suffering largely from turmoil. Well, we can take the enlistment efforts off. Which one are we suffering from the most? Okay. Now, what is our police institution at? Wait, what are we on? Yeah, we're on dedicated police force. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. So we're actively going up to level 3, but it's going to take a million years. A friend of my Discord group sent an image of the 1980s Olympic Games and the boycotts. Oh, okay. Interesting. Jacob, hey, hello, hello. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Hope all is well. I remember Mischa, the mascot of the Moscow Games. I don't remember that one. From previous knowledge, knew we never boycotted any Olympic Games. Prominent members of the petite bourgeoisie, outspoken supporters of proportional taxation, and close allies of Jovan Lazarevich has been exposed in a corruption scandal, having exchanged political favors for personal gifts. But we're in the voting phase here, though. I don't really want to take a setback for no positive enactment chance. Yeah, I'd rather just take that one at this point. Yeah, so I think the radicalism is becoming unbearable. And this is mainly because of the standard of living, and the standard of living is mainly due to all this hiring issues. Yeah, see, look. Once again, we are unable to hold all right. What about the previous comments they didn't show again? Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I think some of your comments didn't show up again. Oh, no, I saw that. I read that one. Yeah, a friend in the Discord group sent a picture of the 1980s Olympics. Doing well. I'm not a coder by any means, but I had AI examine the code, and I'm finding some cool stuff in Victoria 3. For example, IGs and government partially determine what investors build. Yeah. Yeah, there's some interesting videos out there, too, that people have done about the investment pool. Like, for example, it gives priority to people who are investing the most in it. So, like, at this point, the companies here will get the first priority in building things. So we see here, like, our metals company. Then financial districts next, and then manor houses. This is why at Game Start, when you first start, usually your private queue is filled up with a bunch of rural buildings, because usually your manor houses have the most wealth and are contributing the most to the investment pool. and we started discussing about the political bias in boycotts. Here we go. Okay. Now, how much are we paying? We're paying 1K in welfare payments. We could get rid of that in Social Security, but wait, why are we... When did we start subsidizing a power plant? We don't have any power plants. So there's a lot of strange things going on in this run. Oh wait, what? Sorry, I'm on the wrong tab. Yeah, that's right. But which one did we start subsidizing? I don't remember ever putting a subsidy on this. Oh, that's right. That's right, because they just, this was the revolution. And now we just got them back. Okay. And the ports. We can take that. There are AI tags on every building and decisions it can make that fit into agendas. It's a lot more elaborate than I was expecting. Yeah, I remember there was a video that someone made one time. And I saw this quite a while ago. So I can't remember the name of the channel. But somebody did a video about going into the code and looking at how it affects the investment pool. And it was really fascinating. There's a lot of interesting stuff about who gets priority and how it decides things. Let's see, who are we friendly with? Who are we friendly with? Not... Oh. I wonder if we can get in good with these guys. Ideological differences in government. Yeah, the landowners. Landowners, that's not good. Germany's not going to like us. France does. Yeah, and they don't want to do this. Right. At least you're not a boomer. You know, it's funny, I feel like people don't really remember, like, just how old a boomer really is at this point. I think a lot of Gen X people kind of get labeled as boomers because some people think it's just like people in their 50s and 60s. When really a boomer is someone older than Gen X. I've heard, like, students of mine refer to people as boomers, and I'm like, I don't think you quite get. Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Boomers are like much older. So still, yeah. My parents are Gen X, so still old. Yeah, exactly. I mean, even me, I'm a millennial. I like to refer to myself as an elder millennial. I'm like right on the border of Gen X and millennial. Damn, my parents are not boomers. They're born 40 and 42. Yeah, they're not. Isn't that crazy? I genuinely loathe boomers. Like, I hate their mindset and refuse to adapt and always lecture what they used to get. I just find it funny how every single generation like kind of okay, we're gonna cut down drastically on the military here. That's just what we're gonna have to do. I'm at a point now in my life where I realize every generation, as they get older, makes the same complaints about the previous generation. I see my generation saying the same things now, and I'm just like, at what point do we all learn we're all just saying the same things? Actually, we're gonna cut this one out completely. See, I should have done this. I should have done this right at the beginning of the episode. I am in the millennial Gen Z border. Zoomers are okay, millennials are cool, Gen X is bad, boomers are very bad, greatest generation are great. Gen Alpha is brain rotted. See, though? That's the thing. Everybody always says the same thing about the previous generation, though. Alright, we're just gonna... Oh, we kind of like this guy. We're gonna fire some of these generals. So, artillery, we'll send you over here. Yeah, we'll fire you. Because we also don't need as many of these guys. It's too bad. We actually have a lot of really good ones. Okay. So, armed for... Alright, we're just gonna... They're all pretty good, so we're just gonna retire people. Let's see, can we get... Oh, an obligation. No, that's not gonna work. only we could... If only we could. Alright, we're going to cut some of these things out. So the next law we're going to do is... We're going to go to no Social Security. So we're going to try to cut some of these institutions out. This one we have to go up on. Because then we can cut back on some of this tax waste. Although we're not actually losing all that much. In fact, I might even change the army model here. Oh gosh, the 80s suck so hard. Best music, wacky hairstyles, crazy parties. Maybe it was just my teens. Yeah, I would say I was more of a 90s kid myself. The 90s were the best. Yeah, I'm kind of kicking myself here. I should have drastically cut down on the military at the beginning of the episode before we started accumulating all this debt. See, it's this though. This is what's killing me. We can't get people to stay in their jobs because of this employment bug, and it's just wrecking this whole run. But anyway, I tested 2 runs and saw a lot more pop needs built with intelligentsia and trade unions and government long term, while armed force and deep bourgeoisie built a ton of infrastructure and military. Oh, that's interesting. I guess, but kind of makes sense. Yeah, like pop needs would be taken care of by intelligentsia and trade unions. Yeah, they would be upset, right? That I'm getting rid of going to no Social Security. All right, so we are going to start fresh here. So... Oh, but I can't cut the... I should have cut them all out. Another mistake. All right, let's stop with the no Social Security for right now. This should end the socialist revolution here. Okay. All right, almost there, almost there. Let's get a Sunday up or Monday update. Oh, the damn Navy. That's right. I almost forgot about that. All right. Naval commander. We're just gonna... Because we also don't have the bureaucracy for this. People are gonna be pissed about it, but... C'est la vie. Yeah, look at all of these generals. So we have a defensive strategist. We'll transfer over one good one here. Yeah, maybe the surveyor. Oh yeah, we'll transfer you over. Alright, so we'll retire you. We'll transfer over Slobodan and Dragisa. Alright, we got you guys there. All right. Well, we've gutted everything, but at least we are increasing stuff. Okay. Oh boy, yeah, I'm pretty far behind on this generation convo here. Oh, but we are at the hour mark, so good time to take our first break. All right, so we're gonna, so that we don't get miss any gameplay because of ads, we're gonna take a quick 90-second break, go to the bathroom, get a drink of water, and we'll be right back. All right, and we're back, and we're back. $16 for a book is now the average, and $5 for a pack of smokes. Yeah, I would say that is the cost of a book now, even a digital one. Damn, I thought Indonesia is bad. It seems like everywhere books are a luxury. Yeah, I mean, that's because the sales of them got cut significantly, which causes prices to go up. My wife used to work in publishing, and it was basically like she was working at the like downfall of the industry. Fun fact, you can find extremely cheap books in book bazaars, gas stations, bus stations, and political parties. For example, the Communist Party hosts these book sellings. Yeah, there's still quite a big, like, used book market. Like, at my kid's school, we do fundraisers by, like, people, like, donate books, kids' books, and then we sell them for, to benefit the parent association. And it's huge. People love to buy books, especially kids' books. Go over the generation text of Wall and tell us your opinions. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to recap all of that and focus on the run at this point. I think I'm too far behind on all of it. I'll have to go back over it when we're done here. So groceries. Okay, so one thing we can start with here are groceries. What is profitable in the British market? So how much are we banking up here? 821k. See, we have infrastructure problems here. It'd be nice if we could get rid of some of these buildings. The problem is... yeah, like, why people are building left and right here? Man, this one kind of got away from us. So we have expensive fabric. So what we're going to do is we're going to reset all the production methods in the country and start this fresh. And where is that building? Or where is that button? There used to be a button for it. I understand, but I would love to hear your opinions on our criticisms. Yeah, maybe before next break, or by the end of the stream then. Yeah, I'll start going through it, like, during the break, and try to get as far as I can. Yeah, see, we have to cut down on these institutions. So, so let's start with this. Alright, so the socialist movement here, they don't like what? Yeah, the no workers' rights. Now, one benefit is there's no more soldiers for anybody. But Great Britain will come and help us. So we're spending 16K on paper. So let's take this back to basics. Let's go industry by industry here. Yeah, we have 105,000 peasants. All right, let's hire this up. Yeah, I feel such an outcast in my family. Well, both my parents like to read, but my cousin and uncle are not avid book readers. It's kind of how I felt in my family growing up. I loved to read, and I would finish a book and I'd want to talk about it with somebody, but nobody else in the family really read books. Other than my dad would occasionally read like political books, like nonfiction stuff. But I also didn't have any friends who were avid readers, so I couldn't even like talk about it with them. So I would just like read a book and be like, "Oh, that was cool," and keep it to myself. Belligerent crowds have been getting increasingly provocative when confronted by troops in Bulgaria. Hardliners in government are demanding tougher responses, while doves are calling for troops to stand down as the first hopeful step in de-escalation. Yeah, see, I'll take this and get the loyalist increases. Even the local government library has fewer catalogs than the amount of books I read. And your book nerds are scarce. Well, that's interesting. That is interesting. Oh, let's speed it up here. So let's see. Not really cutting down on anything yet, but oh, you know, we're gonna cut back on these as well. And ease the cost burden a little bit. Maybe I exaggerate a little bit, but my point here, people are not keen on reading books. It's true. Even I find it difficult nowadays to like. I feel like after having kids, it's become very difficult to be able to sit down and just read a book. It's hard to be able to focus on anything with them around. A doctor in Bulgaria has been caught aiding wounded dissidents and revolutionaries. His aid isn't just helping his patients, but it's emboldening the entire rebel movement. Hmm. 20% academic pops in Bulgaria, or 2% of academics. Probably take that, because there's probably not as many in Bulgaria. Let's just focus on this. Oh, maybe not. Is that... Alright, we'll do this. If I have the same income like you, I would buy 8 books a month. And 4 with books, with 300, 700 page books. Must love how to read. I think that's partly why I got into even further into grand strategy games after having kids, because you can start and stop it and come back to it. Whereas I feel like when I'm reading, like, if somebody distracts me and I get out of the moment, it makes it difficult. Alright, so we should be able to take off that subsidy. Now, let's start getting... Alright, so this is going to higher up, that's good. Average book is 4 times cheaper here. An average salary 4 times bigger than Indonesia after tax. So that would be a 16-to-1 ratio. Damn. I did like reading. I mean, I like Japanese comics. I can read One Piece just in 4 days. Oh, max until the latest chapter. Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, those generally, I guess, would take a little bit shorter of a time. Wish I could send you some of my books. Yeah. Well, it's funny, too. I feel like my books and my DVD collection, you can just kind of see almost the exact year I just started buying everything digitally, because they all kind of, like, stop at a certain point. Yeah, I'm grateful by that, but down our border officers are corrupt. The books will be halted. I have to pay $300 fine and tax. Oh my god. That's intense. Alright, so how much do we have banked up now? So we have $1 million. Okay. So we got rid of that. Now I would like to get rid of Social Security so I can start upping the health system. But we gotta wait 12 more months on that. Alright, let's go to elected bureaucrats. Alright, so we're slowly getting all this stuff back up. So logging is cheap. Coal and explosives. Explosives are hiring up. Now let's, see, this is the problem here, though. We need the railway, but I don't want to subsidize 11 levels of it. So what we'll do is we'll subsidize it until we get the infrastructure to where we need. How much more infrastructure do we need? So we need about, well, let's say we get to 100 infrastructure. So let's get this generating 100. Dairuka find and exploit, or you can something like that. If you nationalize the farms from the other country, your investment revenue will benefit more. Yeah, we might start doing that. See, we couldn't do it before because we didn't have any money. Now we have a little bit of money saved up. What I would like to do is actually get rid of buildings that are utilizing resources and creating more of a need of infrastructure. Because part of our problem is all of this overbuilding in the country has our infrastructure, our market access so low everywhere that our cost of goods is so expensive. The radical movement has organized mass protests across Dalmatia. While the protests have remained peaceful for now, local authorities have raised concerns about possible violence. Yeah, right now, I will take anything that will get me some more loyalists. So we'll do that. What we might do is... So what state are they taking here? Alright. So what we're going to do is... We're going to build 2 line infantry now in Western Serbia so that we can handle all these rebellions that pop up. So because our market access is so low, all of our states have to become very localized. So, for instance, we don't need 11 levels of this. $400K though, that's gonna be a lot. Yeah, I'd much rather kind of keep the money in order to afford all of the stuff that we're about to, what do you call it, the subsidizing that we're about to do. I forgot, yeah, we were, yeah, let's get these built and paused again. Have to get these pop needs taken care of. Yeah. We'll set the home. Oh yeah, it's already set there. Okay. So let's get this done. Can we reach starting GDP for 1936? Find out tonight. Yeah. Probably not. I mean, if we have a bug here that is preventing us from hiring, it's not going to make much difference. But we can slowly try to fix it. Yeah, like, see the buildings here just cannot hold on to. Wonder, you know. You know, we might, okay, we might move to a law here where we can nationalize without compensation and get rid of a lot of this stuff. If we go to cooperative ownership, we should be able to do that. I have 48 loyalists. Yeah, it's going down. I did not see that. I didn't even know this loyalty ratio was possible. Uh, I've seen I've seen one where it was like down to like 1. I've seen some posts of that. See, the problem is people because of this bug, people can't get hired into buildings. So we have so much unemployment, we're going to have a low standard of living. And so everyone is becoming radicalized because of that. That's the problem we're running into. So you see we're getting 1.7 million added radicals because of standard of living. All right, what we're going to do, this is what we're going to do. We're going to move to a law that'll allow us to start nationalizing things without compensation. Because part of our problem, too, is we have such low market access everywhere because everything is so overbuilt. So for instance, like we'll look at something that takes coal. Coal is super expensive because it's built in another state. They don't have it here, but the market access for the state that has coal. Oh hey, we finally got an achievement this run. Have a communist movement with 50% or more support. Yeah, every person is a radical. Man of certainly not the people. If you only have 51 loyalists left, I would be among them. Of course not. Are you crazy? You tanked the economy. Go home. What do you mean I tanked the economy? No, we can't. The buildings won't hire because of a bug. What am I gonna do? Do you know how to work around that bug? If you have a workaround for a bug, I don't think there's any amount of game strategy you can do to work around a hotfix that doesn't take effect because it's a save game. Any economy will tank if everybody just stops working. Alright. Good. Britain sent some troops. I didn't take the economy. The business owners won't employ people. Not my fault. No, my friend. So there was a hotfix that... what's the bug? There was a hotfix that came out that said there was an issue with building employment. That buildings wouldn't increase their current employment. And then in the comments of it, they said that the bug... or the hotfix won't really take effect unless you start a new game. You can continue your save, but it won't fix the issue. And this save we started right when 1.10 came out, so we started this before any of the hotfixes. So I think we're starting to see some of the effects of that. Hey, Nuri, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. How are you? New save time. Yeah, yeah, this is true. I mean, we are starting a new run when this one gets to 1936. Though it does create an interesting challenge, which I'm not opposed to taking on. Or I shall resend. With a run crippling bug, have you given any thought to just starting the new country stream tonight? I have actually been thinking about that. I just, you know, sucks to not get to 1936. But that might be maybe what I end up doing. Because if I can't get buildings to hire because of a bug, it's kind of a pointless uphill battle. The ongoing election has drawn attention to the platforms of the various contending parties. Across Serbia, the electorate debates which party is worth trusting with the next term in government. I very well might do that tonight. We might be starting the Colombia run tonight. Though we will continue this for this stream, just to... just for the challenge of it. Pretty much. Wait, pretty much what? I feel sad. This is quite a hard run just for it to be porked by a bug. I know. I know. We had an interesting run going here. And you can kind of see the effects of a run that has gone through a save that has been loaded through many hotfixes. The map of this game is just kind of a map I've never seen happen in a run before. I've never seen all of this border gore in Russia. Where was there? Was a couple other ones we had pointed out along the way. Chile and Bolivia. Not only the British Graham cuts, but the bug. Yeah, so I see this run are not blessed by them. By the mighty PDX Interactive. Yeah, I know. The British really did screw us in this one. So, now that you've played Hearts of Iron, we need a Paradox Grand campaign. I would love to do something like that, actually. It sounds really cool. Because, yeah, when EU5 comes out, we'll be doing a regular EU5 streams as well. We'll just take, whenever we finish a Crusader Kings run, load it right into EU5, and then load that one right in here, and so on. I'm not opposed to that. Oh, yeah, right? That's another one. The DEI exists as an independent nation. I don't think I've ever seen this in a run. Like, that the AI does. Our efforts to pass the elected bureaucrats law have run into several classic bureaucratic hurdles. Debates rage around such lofty matters as the correct shape of filing cabinets. We will take this one. Yeah, it's a releasable nation next to Alaska. Oh, yeah, the Far East. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, I'm still not sure what the Far East tag is. Oh, yeah, broken up Finland. Yep. That one. I feel like there's another one somewhere. There was something. I feel like it was somewhere down here. Yeah, look at this. The West Indies are independent within the American market. Amazonia is an independent nation. Uruguay is a puppet of America. I love that 45 invited all business leaders to a circle, asking them how much they will invest. And Zuckerberg's microphone was open, and he said, "Was that the number you liked me to say?" Oh my God, I haven't seen that one yet. course. Of course. It is astounding to me just how much the business leaders of this country are just bowing to him. That is not going to end well for them. All right, so let's get through elected bureaucrats here. The free DEI has such a pretty color. Yeah, right? I do like that. I like this one, and I like Bengals. Supporters of the Liberal Party have gone beyond simply campaigning for their own party, harassing and sometimes physically attacking opposing partisans. Alright, we'll take that one. Yeah, and there are people who believe that's sham. I know, unfortunately. The civil service, currently led by the intelligentsia, are deliberately stalling the government by creating unnecessary paperwork. They demand that their jobs be protected under elected bureaucrats. Well, we'll only get the +5 on this one. Yeah, no, I don't want to lose... Oh, -5% bureaucracy until the next law enactment, so that... we'll take that. A deadly fire has killed many workers in Bulgaria, due in part to dangerous working conditions and locked emergency exits. It has been revealed that Jovan Lazarevich, a prominent member of the petite bourgeoisie, was the owner of the now scorched factory. Alright, we don't want the petite bourgeoisie to get too upset there. Yeah, whatever. Will the U.S. own Sahara? Yeah. Oh, wait. No, that's still the French. Oh, wait. Oh, no, yeah. Oh, I didn't see this over here. Yeah, look at that. This is a new one. Yeah, Bengal always has that beautiful color. Luckily, yeah, I love it. Bengal is just British Raj getting independent. No, yeah. Yep. That's it. Thank you for letting us continue. You are welcome. Okay, so the East Indies are the Indonesia colors. Oh, cool. It's not bright or too dark. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so GDP is starting to slowly climb up a little bit. You know, I also love the new soundtrack they have in here. Songs of the Homeland that just came out. This is one of them that's playing. So let's take a look at what's happening here. So yeah, we're getting a little bit more employment now. Yeah, goodbye, Egypt. Sorry, Egypt. Right. What's interesting, too, is as the buildings are gaining more cash reserves, you can see our reserves starting to go up here a little bit. GDP is up with the solar plummeting. Feels like the US. Yeah, basically. It is kind of that. Alright, so we have a little bit of money in the budget now. Let's subsidize the food industries so we can start lowering the cost of that. Let's keep an eye on how this goes. Let's take a look at the one in Western Serbia. Maybe let's get our livestock ranches hiring. This afternoon, Jovan Lazarevich, leader of the petite bourgeoisie, delivered a fiery speech advocating for the enactment of elected bureaucrats. Alright, we'll take that one. Now, what I really want to get fixed here, with the amount of money we have... Alright, so everything is like dirt cheap here now. Or the railways are dirt cheap. And so now we can let this hire down until it's profitable. Petberg picking elected bureau. Wow, this run beyond wild and insane. Oh, petite bourgeoisie picking that. Yeah. Yeah, this is just quite a wild ride, this one. There we go. The president of the U.S. wants to bring back battleships because they look cool. That whole military speech was also an insane thing. To bring all of the generals of the country together and just tell them they're all fat and we don't like your beards. It's an insane thing to happen. Very not of them not being fascist in 1915. Wait, what do you mean? Oh, you mean in Serbia here? Although I appreciate the childish happiness of this individual. I mean, maybe. If it wasn't so awful. Yeah, so see, we have to... we can't keep the railway profitable, but keep it at a level to support all the infrastructure needed for all of these buildings. Like 32 levels of steel mill is insane. I like that, but battleships are very much obsolete when you can have a carrier and B-2 bombers. Yeah, that's what's so ridiculous about it. Like, you're gonna bring back battleships just because they look cool. I mean, we have battleships. They're in museums now. We have not a battleship, but we have a big old carrier docked here in New York, and it's a museum. Even cruisers are becoming obsolete. Russia lost one to the Neptune missiles. I believe the armed forces should reflect the people of the country. All of them, not being a fascist war government. Yeah. This is true. This is very true. Okay, yeah. So now... Alright, so now we have a bunch of extra bureaucracy. We're going to bring up the health system. No, not this. Oh, I thought we had the trade unions. We do not. Yeah, so if we go corporate state, we can unlock cooperative ownership. Though we won't have anybody who likes it. But we can start taking over buildings without compensation, right? I feel like it doesn't actually say. Peter Scandinavian, right? Yes, Swede. Country. Thank you. We have our issues as well now with right-wingers and stupidity. We actually had like a Swedish nationalist join the stream like a couple months ago. It was very fascinating. I mean, that's the thing. We have this rising everywhere. Alright, yeah. Let's try to make this as profitable as we can. What's the local price of tools here? Yeah, okay. This we will subsidize. We'll take it off of the food industries. The far right died out in Greece. Oh, lucky. You're lucky. The Swedish military industry, one of the best. Damn, you guys really can't make better tanks. Is that so? How do we... I'm not too up to date on the information of like who makes what military goods and the quality of them. Hey, Jabba, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the end of this bugged disaster run. It's the end already, huh? Yeah, pretty much. I think this will be the last episode, and tonight we'll start our Colombia run, because we're facing a major bug in this one that got patched, but needs a new save in order to be fixed. And it's causing some problems. Oh, wait, before we continue, yeah, let me figure out what we're going to do. So I think what we'll do is, if we move over to corporate state, we can go to cooperative ownership. And then we can start, right? I'm not wrong about this, right? Cooperative ownership, you can nationalize without compensation. Though I'm not seeing it on the list here. I feel like I've said this to myself before. Oh, I don't see it on the list, but... yeah, Colombia. Colombia will be the next one. I watched some YouTube videos about the reformation of Sweden's mechanized brigade. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, Sweden were neutral for a very long time after World War II, so we did build up a competent defense military. Or maybe it was the Soviets. That makes sense. And built up your grand strategy gaming sector to be top in the world. Actually, the next Starting Steps video series I'm working on right now is a Sweden run. I'm hoping to get that out starting next week. All right, yeah, let's get off of the monarchy. Let's go for this. Yeah, wait, you're finally doing the Swedish first steps. Let's go. Yeah, yep. That's going to be the next one. So I'm currently going through the run now, and then hopefully starting near the end of the week, I can start editing the videos. I heard the mech brigade is reshaped for more flexible use to counter Russia and prepare for war. Shame the gripe and very complicated with their spare parts. Don't know about that. Did my service 1988 on a minesweeper. Whoa. A lot has changed since then. Whoa, that's intense. Minesweeping. May I make a request for the video? I tend to struggle with one thing. Yes, please go for it. Let me know. Hopefully I haven't gotten past whatever it is you'd like to request. So let's use some of our... Oh, yeah. We can't. Let's take a look at... Old wooden boats built in 1968-69. The Eskriven, a Swedish third-generation multi-role jet, is very flexible, can land in narrow roads. Oh, wow, but the spare parts is a nightmare. Oh. Yeah, we did visit Poland and Belgium, though. Wow. At Sweden, I always run out of pops, and I'm not sure if I should just try to boost migration, delete rural buildings, whatever. I just like some tips on managing the small Swedish pop, basically. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely still in a place where I could tackle that. So yeah, I'll focus on that in the series then and talk about it, because that'll definitely be a thing that comes up. One of the things that sucks about becoming a world power is the fundamental conflict of interest that has with the welfare of the people. Military spending becomes more necessary politically. Yeah, isn't that the case here in the United States? I mean, the amount of money we spend on military is just insane, to be honest. At the cost of people's welfare. Day-to-day welfare, at least. Thanks, I can't wait. Yeah, of course. Of course. It's interesting, though. I find Starting Steps videos take a lot more time to edit. Because unlike like a video tutorial, I'm just going from point to point. But a starting steps video, there's like, I gotta cut out all those moments of like just sitting there waiting for an event to happen. So it's an interesting thing. I never realized that the editing time of that. At least that's what I found when I made the Congo series one. All right, so where are we at now? Where are we at now? All right, good. So we're going to get more people here. So let's start looking at Eastern Serbia here. So they're over their infrastructure, but just barely. Indonesia wants to buy that, but we changed to France because they don't embargo us. All right, see, with all of this stuff, I feel like the motors industry would be the best thing to... Oh, you know what, too? Okay, yeah, we can lower this stuff down a little bit now. This will help with radicals. We can... get rid of consumption taxes on things everybody is spending. Unfortunately, tobacco is what we're not going to be able to do that with. Yeah, look, we had a standard of living above, or at like 19.2 when everything kind of crashed. Damn. We buy French stuff and American. Yeah, it's too expensive to have a big military and non-trivial welfare spending at the same time. Yeah, isn't that the truth, unfortunately. We don't have Swedish weapons. Welcome to Greece, yeah. The Rafael give more flexible contracts to us and affordable spare parts. Alright, so we're starting to climb up a little bit here. Alright, so we're starting... Okay, so we're starting to hire. So now we need to start getting rid of certain buildings. So these places, though, still are having their troubles. So we got to get the infrastructure up. So let's subsidize the railway. So that we have the infrastructure to cover everything else. Let's wait till we get up there. It does make me a little happy that, in the end, we did end up getting one achievement in this run. Nothing is truly lost if you can get at least one. We're slowly starting to get more loyalists back. The Indonesian Air Force is something you would see, something Ace Combat or War Thunder, like Cold War era. We either fail from France because the US imposed an embargo to Indonesia and replaced the F-15. Why they do that? Can you send me the save file? Yeah, I think I can send it through Discord, right? I'll do that at the end of the stream here. No Sorbia then. Yeah, I don't think it's in the cards. I mean, in the end, you know, if we can just... Yeah, see, Britain and Germany are pretty equal. The other problem is we, Oh no, we don't have the truce with Germany anymore. But we can't really afford... We would need to have a military to defend our land here. Oh yeah, make a save file now. Here, I'll make a file for you right now. There we go. I think the hotfix was saying wages got stuck. Yeah. Yeah, wages get stuck, and so people don't move jobs. Because in order for a pop to move jobs, there needs to be a wage being offered that's at least 10% more, which is why you have to start subsidizing the buildings in order to get a pop to move or go to the building. I don't need in 1936. You'll have fixed the issue by yourself then, I believe. Well, I don't think we're going to take this one all the way to 1936. We're just going to take it to the end of this stream session this afternoon. You are a champ, Ham. Thank you, thank you. As the government debates establishing a corporate state, various organizations have made their cases for greater representation in corporate bodies. They include workers' organizations, employers' associations, and universities. Yeah, I would like to favor the trade unions, actually. Oh, actually... No, I'd rather just take this. The Air Force gets split in favor between Russia or US jets or military planes. First abandon. First abandon? Alright, so we're starting to see some hiring here. Services. Okay, services. Yeah. So we probably should take... Can we afford to take the tax off of this? Yeah, let's do it. And we'll tax, instead... Well, maybe we won't tax anything. Yeah, we'll use the enactment time, actually, right now to get these sets of laws passed. Yeah, we still have quite a bit. Could use violent suppression. Western Serbia as well. It will increase mortality, though. We don't really want that. Actually, we'll go with this. So, do it here because they need it. And here. Because I think we still have some hiring stuff. Oh, no, we don't. do it in Serb Montenegro. Hey, John. Hello, hello. Will you conquer Croatia? Unfortunately, that is not in the cards. We're kind of just saving ourselves from disaster here. We don't have a military anymore. We got two battalions. Austria's damaging relations. Wonderful. Also, you just imposed the embargo because Pradowo is the president. Although I suppose one way to address the military spending problem is to reduce readiness in peacetime with a conscript army model to be able to spend more on welfare. Yeah. I think if the US went to a conscript army, that's when the country would truly riot. The proposal to establish a corporate state has met pushback from the industrialists who claim that the proposal will permit unqualified workers too much control over their enterprises. So gain a setback. Well, okay, I might just take the negative 5% chance. Although I guess the industrialists, I should have looked at this. They're already super unhappy as it is anyway. I think country with low manpower maybe, but country that have abundance of them just use a professional army. So I think the problem though is that with the US, our problem isn't like wages of military personnel. They're not spending a lot of money on military wages either. It's more just the, you know, like the goods for the military. That's correct. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think that would be a major turning point in the US. Ah, look at this. Look at this. Okay. Now we're getting some hiring here. Maybe not in all the places that we need it, but now let's focus over here. So here, we got our standard of living back up, at least above minimum expected. So we're slowly crawling our way back. GDP is up to 21 million, so it's about half of where we were. I say the inverse. Welfare gets more expensive with more people. This is true. Americans do not care about welfare. They're an evil empire. They care about waging war abroad and keeping the plebes happy with trinkets while maximizing NASDAQ and S&P indexes to enrich the already rich. Well, it depends on who in America you're talking about. I think the problem in America right now is we're seeing the effects of a wider gap in economic classes. The middle class of the country is shrinking so much, and so we have an emerging rich class and working poor class. And so when you say, you know, Americans don't care about welfare, they care about waging war abroad, keeping plebes happy, the NASDAQ rising, I would say it's actually a small minority that cares about that. The problem is all the power is in that small minority. Combine that with some propaganda against things that provide welfare to people, and you kind of get where we're at right now. That's kind of my thinking on it. Yeah, the goods are the vast majority of the expenses, which should go down in national militia. Yeah, exactly. Oh, all right. We are at the 2-hour mark. So we are going to take a very quick 90-second break. And we'll be right back. All right, and we're back, and we're back. Yeah, we Americans are a little too addicted to the comfort of power to care about their standard of living. I honestly, I mean, I think that's largely part of it. I think the problem is a good portion of the country is just at the border of comfort, which is why we have so much passivity and political engagement. We're still a middle class. Barely, just barely. That small minority controls the state. Yeah, well, exactly. That's my point. That small minority is what controls the state right now. But when you're talking about the people, that's why I always say in any conversation, there's always a difference between when you're talking about a country, there's a difference between the government and its people. Sometimes those things are aligned, but I find more times than not, you're always talking about two different things when you talk about the government and the people. And you talk about like values and importance. Gerald Ford class is very expensive. And by Americans, I mean the only ones who make decisions. The rest of us are just consumers. Yep. Well said there. That is exactly it. Even the Charles de Gaulle class is still expensive with it more smaller size. The Gerald F. Ford class costs $13 billion just to build it. Not the maintenance or the resupply of the time it needs to fix. Yeah, wait, the Gerald Ford class. What do you mean by that? Oh yeah, look at that. Greece. Greece is really, this whole run, they've really been trying to get the Ionian Islands back. What is their military that they're doing this? Okay, my friends. They have 97 battalions going up against 709. I admire that. I admire that. A group of students attending the university in eastern Serbia have arranged a demonstration in support of the labor movement. The display has inspired other students to join the cause. Oh, torrential rains is just exactly what we needed right now. Yeah, whatever doesn't get us any more radicals. I think that the Americans are the only ones worse than the Germans. What do you mean, worse in what regard? Is that Corfu? Oh, I don't know. Oh, the Gerald F. Ford class carrier. Oh, I see what you're talking about. Is the latest and most advanced U.S. carrier that plans to replace the previous carrier. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, because I was like, Gerald Ford, the former president, like a class of people named after him. I don't know what that would refer to, but I see, yeah, carrier there. Stay vigilant, my friends. Oh! Usually mess up all the Greek islands. All right, let's take a look here. How's our... Okay, so not much happening here. So let's see if we can influence this. How much are people spending on tobacco? Yeah. Let's get rid of the tax on that. Might make people a little bit happier. News of brutal labor abuses in the arms industries of Western Serbia have spread across the nation. Dissidents have pointed to this as proof that the government's proposed corporate state cannot be trusted to protect workers' rights. I'd rather not lose the authority. Wait until you see the Swedish-Norwegian, but it's okay. It took me a century not to confuse Jotland with Gotland, the land of the Goths. Yeah, I'll tell you how much I've been looking up pronunciations of the Swedish states to desperately try not to mispronounce them, and I still am at some points, but I try. We have like 220,000 islands in Sweden. Greece aren't even close. Let's take a look here. Oh yeah, look, yeah, like off the coasts here. Alright, law enforcement increased. So we're gonna lose, we're gonna gain a little bit of money back from turmoil stuff. A general died. I feel like these types of people pop up way too much. Romantic and offensive planner. So take that. Oh, excellent. And then we get a defensive strategist. I wonder if we can build up at least one army in order to defend ourselves and see if we can get Great Britain to get a Saxony. Hey, okay, our first bankruptcy is gone. So we just have 5 more years left of our current bankruptcy. The Swedish definition of island is very far off. We have a joke how 3-meter rock of the coast still counts as an island in Sweden. I don't think so. So I think they are from different cultures. 15% of Greeks live in an island, highest in Europe. As a New Yorker, I live on an island. Okay, ooh, international exchange center. This is good for us here. Oh. One moment, everybody. All right, apologies about that. Okay, so we got 10% on corporate state here. When does an island become mainland? Well, in New York City, an island becomes mainland when you reach the Bronx. Bronx is the only part of the city connected to the mainland. When it is directly connected to a peninsula attached to a continent. Alright, so we can start getting this stuff back up. Honestly, we'll lower this to try to get some more radicals. You know what Indonesia means. And really, there are islands that are not uninhabited. The islands that are counted are very much habitable by humans. Alright, let's... Okay, so... Cut down on... So we've significantly cut down on the increase. Oh, I don't think I've ever seen David Copperfield pop up before. That's funny. Yeah, that's interesting. I did not realize... I mean, why would we not get him in here? Just for the fun of it. Alright, health system increased. That's good. A factory in Kosovo has been rocked by a tremendous boiler explosion. With dozens dead or injured, the story of this tragedy has quickly become a national event. What do we want? We could use the industrialists here, but 5% of the lower strata. I'd rather take 5% radicals of the upper strata since they're the smaller amount. Still, the Dutch mistake us with India, which everyone here hates that. Wait until you hear about the Genoese landing in Puerto Rico. Yeah. Or, Columbus in, Cuba, basically. I believe it was Cuba that he ended up landing in, right? Lawmakers working towards the enactment of corporate state have found themselves mirrored in a particularly complex set of bureaucratic proceedings, grinding the work towards reform to a near halt. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to lose bureaucracy and gain radicals. We will do that. I know the Indo caused its direct translation to India. Yes, this is not. Alright, torrential rains ended. Alright, good. So we're losing radicals now, so that's good. So let's keep an eye on employment. So we still have a significant amount here. So, what is it everybody's spending their money on significantly? Oh yeah, actually wait. First, let's take a look at... Yeah, so we need infrastructure to be a little bit better. So let's get that hired up. Law enforcement from Great Britain has requested we hand over David Copperfield, a dissident living in our country. Change progress of civil war in Great Britain by -10. What are our relations with them currently? Sure, hand them over. Bye-bye. Who can we get in here right now? Somebody might be able to help us. Nobody. Oh, yeah, that's right. Wait, we have a cooldown on that right here. Columbus would not be the guy who rediscovered America if not for his skill. Well, he never actually landed in the continental North America. He never actually made it there. As you see, everything is Greek. Always had been. That guy is such an arsehole, even for that time standard. Yeah, he was. Columbus is okay? No. I don't think so. You guys too Roman because he's simping with the Greek, but refuse to acknowledge that. Yeah, no, Columbus was awful. How we doing here? All right, so we're above the infrastructure, so we need to keep... You'll explain why Columbus is okay? All right, go for it. I'd love to hear that. I've never heard anybody who isn't Italian make the case for Columbus. All right. My hot take is that Romans are just Greek strays. Well said, well said. Let's see here. Yeah, we could use some more motors here. They don't have the qualifying for it. First to rediscover America should be Eric. The Vikings that discover Vinland or Zhang. He with his 1,000 voyage. Let's stop. I don't remember why we were increasing relations with the Germans there. Bet you didn't know them. Wait, no, who? Alright. Yeah, so corporate state's kind of stalling on us here. Literally, as I said that, it stalls. Yeah, we could survey the skyscraper site here, but I don't want to have to spend 500 bureaucracy for a year. Eric the Red, Leif Erikson, who might have landed in Vinland, modern-day Labrador, Canada. Maybe. Anyway, here's why Columbus was actually okay. Yeah, Leif Erikson was the Viking who they believe went to Newfoundland, I think. Yeah. Yeah, Leif Erikson actually made it to the continental North America. Unlike who we're about to hear about. He was born a lowborn in Genoa. Back then, if you weren't in Britain, Habsburg, nobody cared about you. Draw parallels to today. Oh yay, we've got submarines. Alright, we're actually gonna start slowly increasing this. Let's actually upgrade them to trench and build. Three more. So we'll slowly start to get them going. So in order to make a decent life outside of being a servant or toil in the mines, he had to learn useful skills, and he became a navigator. Okay. All right. We've got that hired up. So we're slowly clawing this back. So now we've got a little bit to go here in Bosnia. We need to get the infrastructure back up here. So we'll subsidize this. He actually had immense knowledge of the world and challenged the contemporary scientific knowledge, going back to ancient Greeks and saying that Eratosthenians are actually correct. The world is smaller than it was supposed to be, although sailing to India would have unalived him and his entire crew, and has not been for the Americas to provide for the landing. One more week till all under heaven. That is right. That is right. We're gonna next Thursday will be next Thursday night. We're gonna begin a session with all under heaven. Very much looking forward to that one. General Sokolovich has made public statements in support of the Radical People's Party, bringing into question the political neutrality of the military. Yeah, sure. Move momentum there. War propaganda. Yeah, the church that era still believe the earth is flat and the sun rotated around the earth. Yeah, imagine people believing that the earth was flat. Unbelievable. Nobody wanted to hire him, thus he couldn't make a living. The only reason they hired him was gold. He was given the direct order by royals, bring more gold. You're going Japan, right? Yes. Yeah, we're going to do a Japan run. We'll do about we'll probably do about 2 weeks of a Japan run to check it out. See how it goes, see how it works. So when he landed in a land without gold, he had to employ Belgian level of horror to extract the tiny gold the Caribbean natives had. Shame if only he'd kept sailing to India. So people hate him for that. And of course, taking orders do not justify actions, but his well-being was directly tied to proving that his voyages were profitable to the ruling class. So your point as to why he's good is that in order to secure his livelihood, he had to commit atrocities. So it's not really his fault that he committed the atrocities. I mean, come on now. That's a bit of a stretch. That doesn't there's no justification for it. Like, yeah, I get his livelihood was at stake, but that doesn't mean you can do what he did. It doesn't excuse it. It was barbaric what he did. So that he could extract gold. Do you know the painting with the title, The Sin That Explains the Banquet of Borgia? The painting with a nun and a monk having some fun. Yeah, let's try to utilize as much as we can. The eyes of the electorate have turned to the candidates that seek to acquire a position at the head of government. As the election approaches, voters debate who would provide the best leadership for Serbia. We'll try to keep the Liberal Party in here. The Nuremberg trials pretty much stated that you cannot get away with just following orders. Yeah, exactly. The whole just following orders thing. And also, it wasn't even like he wasn't going to face execution. It was his livelihood. And so he essentially caused others to unalive in order to keep his livelihood. As the creators of South Park would say, Columbus simply had to get... Yeah. People didn't believe the Earth was flat. That was a myth. The debate around Columbus and the University of Salamanca was about the size of the Earth. They thought the Earth was much larger than it was, and thus any sailing to India would be bad. Following orders do not excuse actions. But we were talking about the 15th century now. Yeah, but it still doesn't excuse it, like, in retrospect. Even, you know, it's still a moral question, and I think the point is still valid that even in the 15th century, you still have a moral choice to make, and he made an awful choice. Many awful choices, so it doesn't excuse it. To say, like, oh, it's the 15th century, it's okay. It's not okay. And also, we don't need to celebrate him now. In knowing what we know now. And also, we celebrate him for things he didn't really do. They say he discovered America. He didn't. So, you know, there's also that. Alright, so now we have a little bit more military spending. Although, yes, okay, so once again, paper. Still we judge by today's standards. Yeah, exactly, there you go. Okay, but without him, we wouldn't discover the Americas, and it's not like... But he didn't discover the Americas. And it's not like his successors were any better in their actions. The conquistadors weren't much worse than the exploradors. The banquet where Pope Borgia provided thousands of courtesans for its guest. Alright, the Liberal Party... and we'll still keep everybody in there. And also, like, as we said before, Leif Erikson got here, like, a couple centuries before Columbus did. The Dutch English were no better than the Portuguese or the Spanish. In fact, they were worse. The Hispanics assented. They just purged the natives. The natives are alive in modern Peruvian Mexico. I think you can look back on history and be like, this person was an awful person, and use your standards of today. I think, sure, there are some instances where you can be like, maybe this was just a product of the time, but atrocities are atrocities, and people knew what they were doing. And so did Columbus. I think the argument that, well, his livelihood was at stake, like, I'm sorry, I think it's kind of a weak argument. I don't think it matters in this context. Through visibly favoring sectors of employment deemed productive, the government has successfully built support for the establishment of a corporate state. Their opponents have been decried as unproductive and parasitic. Oh, here we go. Yeah, we'll get some power. There we go. We'll take that one. Leif Erikson fought some skirmishes with the natives and then abandoned Canada after losing. Okay. Zhang and his voyage to America, but their missions are not like Columbus. Without going too hard, I'd say it's not accidental that Columbus did what he did in service to a certain church's influence. Well said. Well said there as well. We are doing atrocities today for financial profit. I made the argument that the U.S. is an even empire for what they did in Yugoslavia, Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan, Yemen, etc. Yeah, and I agree with you there. Why would you call America an evil empire, but say Columbus was good then? What's the difference there? Zhang, he did discover America in his in his memoir, but his mission is not like Columbus, nor to make a I think it's pretty trying to take the one day Italian Americans have just because Columbus was cool. Wasn't cool for 2025 standards, even though, again, hypocrisy. Well, okay, you said okay, yeah. Well, the one day Italian Americans have. Nobody's saying you have to get rid... First of all, this whole notion that Columbus Day is like Italian American Heritage Day, I don't know. When I was growing up, it was never Italian American Heritage Day. It only became that when people started talking about who Columbus actually was. Like, if that day wants to become Italian American Heritage Day, then that's what it should become. And there are many other Italian Americans that contributed to the story of America that were much better than him. In fact, you know, this whole notion that America has about Christopher Columbus is all based on a cash grab anyway. It was it all can be traced back to this book written by Irving Berlin, and was during the time where there was large migrations of Italians coming to America, and they were all getting discriminated against and being told to go back to Italy. And so, but there was such a large number of Italians now. Irving Berlin wrote this book about Columbus, basically embellishing everything he did to say, look, your story is part of America. And so he did it in order to sell a book to people. And so this whole notion we have of Columbus, especially here in the United States, is all based on a falsified cash grab back in the day. I mean, there are plenty of Italians who have contributed to the history of America who are much better to celebrate than Columbus. Um, like Genghis Khan was much worse human being, but his benefits again outweigh the negatives from a 2025 standpoint. Okay. I mean, I don't know. It was Italian American ham cuts because it started by your government. I think after Teddy, because Italians were unallied by Southern Hicks in Louisiana. No, it wasn't. Like, I'm telling you, as an American growing up in America, the day was never considered Italian American Heritage Day. Never. I've never heard it referred to that way until very recently. It never was. I literally started this to pacify the Italians. Search it up. There's even a film about this. Facts are being spoken. The benefits of the pollution reduce because his war-mongering campaign. Yeah, I don't see that as a good thing, but Indonesia Archipelago never got the Mongols. Problem because we play 5D chess against them. Pacified Asia, contributed to economic growth of science and destroyed the Turks. Well, then let me ask you, why do you consider America an evil empire? I mean, if atrocities don't matter if you do some good things, like, I don't know. Oh yeah, 25 million GDP, 16.7 or now 17 standard of living. We're slowly clawing our way back because people are now getting hired. So we had to like in order to get past this bug, you saw we had to go state by state and kind of slowly bring everything back. Of course, now we have the problem of low employment everywhere. But I would still like to get corporate, state, and then go to command economy maybe, although we probably won't have time to get all of that. But we slowly got everything back up a little bit here. And also when you talk about the good Columbus did, what is the good that he did again? That he sailed here? There were many people who did that. And he didn't even reach the continental North America. He never actually got here. I just don't think we should put Columbus to a pedestal. You say Columbus behaved like something, but look at his positive. What are the positives? That's what I don't get though. What are the positives? That he said that the Earth is smaller than they believed, but he didn't even circumnavigate the Earth. He only made it as far as I think it was Cuba that he landed in. It's one of the Caribbean islands. I thought it was Cuba, but he never even made it to North America, to continental North America. So what are the positives? He didn't discover the Americas though. He wasn't the first one here. He never made it to the continental North America. Like we already talked about, Leif Erikson got here before him. And also, even that term, like, discovered America is a very Eurocentric thing. Like, there were people already here. Like, you didn't discover something. You don't discover something when people are already there. Police have shut down a notorious male brothel. The arrested proprietor has revealed that Jovan Lazarevic is part of his clientele, and his information is leaking to the press. The radical leader of our petite bourgeoisie. Yeah, we'll take that. The rich and unstable political environment in Serbia has proven attractive to political exiles and stateless people who have begun to congregate in the coffee houses of Belgrade. Do we want this guy? Yeah, we'll take negative radicals from movements. After receiving notice of the horrors that the citizens of Kosovo have been enduring, solidarity among the nations has been raised, and there are many who want to donate to the cause. Yeah, we'll take relations with Spain. Members of the Anti-Ottoman Association have discreetly dispatched one of their numbers to amplify their mission in Serbia's most widely read newspaper. Yeah, we'll take this one. Hispaniola, Haiti, Dominica. Yeah, that's where. Yeah, that's right, Haiti. But I already addressed this. Name one explorer, conquistador, who interacted with the natives that were not Bellans. Leif did not connect the two worlds. You were missing the point. Yes, but Leif Erikson doesn't trigger the New World nor Zenki. Europe, Asia, Africa were connected. The Americas were not. They had to be discovered. These people, although having good farming and engineering skills, lacked knowledge of the wheel, iron, etc. Hold on, are you going to try to make the case here, though, that, like, the native people to North America they benefited from this because knowledge was brought to them? They also had no farming animals outside llamas in the south, no horses, etc. I mean, you have to understand it's a very Eurocentric point of view. That's like, I don't think the people from those cultures would necessarily agree with you. The Mayans had the number 0. Wasn't that something unique? Yeah, they did invent that. Yes, they benefited. My God, man. Native Americans are, like, the amount of death, to say that they benefited from that, it's just, I'm sorry, my friend, that is outrageous. Native Americans benefited from this? It's just like, I actually don't really know what to say to that. How are people benefiting when they're dead, how are people benefiting when they're unalived, right? I mean, the native populations of North America have almost been obliterated from the earth. And unlike the US natives, they were not completely wiped out, but mixed with the European. Yeah, how were they mixed with Europeans? There was a very certain type of violation of someone's body. That's how that mixing happened. I mean, come on. I mean, the trade for them, like the said one man... I mean, the trade for them, like the said one man's junk is another's treasure. This is certainly an incredibly unique argument. Yeah, yeah. Liberals do not understand this. No, man, like, it has nothing to do with being liberal or anything like that. It's just common sense. Like, to say people have benefited from knowledge even though they're unalived, I think is kind of a, that's a point of view. All our ancestors, some more so than others at some point. That doesn't excuse it, though. You cannot say Native Americans benefited from European migration because they learned what iron was. Like, that is an outrageous statement, man. I'm sorry. It just is. Like, they were completely violated and had basically a genocide committed against them. It's not a good thing. They didn't benefit. I think it's that statement that that gets me, is to say that native populations here, Native Americans, benefited from this. It's not a benefit. You know, Algerians, Greek, Irish suffered. Yeah, I do know that. I do know that very well. That argument has big. Slavery was good. Yeah, for black people, actually, energy. Yeah, Tito, exactly. Yeah, exactly. The argument kind of rings of that. I think that's what is irking me here about it. The worst thing about Spain and Portugal is they put a name on it they had no business putting on it. Yeah. Yeah. The European settlement in the New World is just conqueror dictating history. Yeah. European settlement in the New World. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Wait, what's happening here? Oh my god, come on. We're gonna have to mobilize this army to defend against Austria. I'm happy I live in a society with modern medicine, roads, court systems, and not going to the tribe wizard to take herbs. Oh my god, Maximilian, you're actually starting to veer into some real prejudice stuff here. I'm sorry, my friend, I'm sorry. Wow, you got pretty weird at the end there. That's disappointing. Yeah, that is like... And that's actually an offensive thing to say. Also, just the idea that the populations here would not have advanced themselves without European intervention is also kind of crazy to me. I'm happy having had access to a good education that I don't have, think nonsense like that. Yeah. Family Guy had a funny sketch with Native American medicine man. My dude, right there should tell you all you need to know, that you're part of what you're finding inspiration in is a Family Guy sketch. If you're going to conquer and enslave a continent, don't pretend you're righteous about it. Exactly, yeah. Hey, Joe. Hello, hello. How you doing? How you doing? I just had a Greek man speaking crazy. It's true, no matter your point of view, that the Americas were isolated and had no way to advance themselves because they had no farm animals or iron to create plows and use said plows. First of all, when you talk the Americas were isolated, you're talking about the entire Western Hemisphere of the planet. That's not an isolation. And yeah, there is iron in the Western Hemisphere. In any case, the debt is gone now. Oh yeah, and we have the great booming yeah, Serbian economy. Yeah, look at this, right? And our bankruptcy will be fully bankruptcy free in 32 months. So that's good. Crazily enough, we have the 27th ranked standard of living. We actually advanced quite a bit here. I don't know. Should we take this to 1936 tonight? I don't know. Yeah, what's with the red spending, right? Oh, yeah. So we are still subsidizing quite a bit of railways here. Logging camps, wheat farms. Yeah, we can get rid of... We can get rid of those subsidies now. And we could actually add in some additional taxes here. There we go. And we could actually bring taxes up a little bit, but it is helping to alleviate some radicals. By that logic, Europe was backwards during the Islamic Golden Age. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. I'm using popular culture to make you understand my argument. The true argument comes from Germs, Guns and Steel by Jared Diamond. Northern Europe for sure. Nobody debates that. that still had farming. What do you mean the Native Americans didn't have farming? Native Americans taught the early European settlers how to farm here. They taught them how to grow. The early settlements here were, oh, hey, Dodgy Rolex, thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome. Good to have you, good to have you. Welcome in. The early European settlements were starving to death because they didn't know how to farm here. That's actually like kind of the basis of the entire Thanksgiving celebration here. Native Americans taught the Europeans how to farm here in North America. What are you talking about? They didn't have farming. Nah, don't divide it. It was Europe as a whole. No washing of the body, disease, all types of nastiness. Yeah. Not Europe as a whole. Greece was not part of it. Italy was not part of it. That's how you wipe out others. Are you talking about the Dark Ages? Because they are not dark like my future in Indonesia. Constantinople had running aqueducts since the Roman time. They're still there. We are talking Turks, not Europeans. Yeah. So unless you're a Turkish patriot. Yes, they taught them how to farm there because England brought mercenaries, goldsmiths, and people instead of farmers because of pure greed of following Spain. The problem with Northern America was they didn't have iron and farm animals like oxen, horses, etc. So they couldn't experience the farming and industrial revolutions of the rest of the world. Yeah, but they were still, but my man, they were still farming. Like, they weren't taught how to farm. And they weren't taught anything. They were killed. Or, oh my god. They were unalived. Like, that's what we're talking about here. You make it seem like they came over and, like, it's total propaganda to be like, the European settlers came over and just worked together with them and all was well. That's not what happened, my guy. I'm sorry. Heavy usage of trenches in western Serbia by Zvenin Sokolovic has turned the land into a blasted hellscape. This stalemate cannot last forever, but it's not clear what the best way forward is. Ooh, yeah, we'll take some of that. The state's efforts to define the nation by a shared identity have spurred a feeling of alarm amongst its Bosniak population. Many Bosniak people fear that they will be forced to assimilate into the dominant culture. Yeah, we'll take that one. Let's all debate. We all love each other. Okay, never mind. Let's not get back to the Turkish colony of Greece. I don't love someone who's about to utilize a completely irrelevant homophobic argument. Wait, what? What did I miss? He's rage baiting because he thinks I am conservative, but I am on the left of him. The brain of the liberal cannot comprehend to tolerate dissent. No, man, it has nothing to do with that. It's that you're spouting out, like, I'm sorry, you're spouting out like prejudice nonsense. You're talking about Native Americans like they were these backwards people who benefited from being pillaged and destroyed. Like, it's I'm sorry, like, of all the things we've debated on this channel, I'm really surprised by your stance on this, because it's straight up prejudice. I'm sorry. An event organized by the labor movement transformed into a brawl as opponents of the movement infiltrated the crowd. When the police arrived, no participant was willing to give a consistent statement. Like, you literally said, like, if the Europeans didn't come here, Native Americans would, like, still be going to their tribe wizard doctor or whatever it was you said. Like, that's like straight up prejudice and offensive, and you're using it as like a justification for what you're saying. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not talking about you, Hamcuts. I'm talking about Joe thinks calling us homosexuals is offensive. No, I knew you weren't referring to me. I said I didn't know what I missed the homosexual bit. I don't know. The Turks are the last Romans. Man. Of course, so this debate sparks up right at the end of the session. All right. So let's see here. I kind of want to... We're in 1921. We have recovered. Yes, and this is true because unlike Europe, Asia, Africa, even Oceania, they had a complete lack of useful metals like iron and lack of farm animals able to irrigate farmlands. Yet, first of all, I don't know what you're talking about. There's lack of iron in North America. The Europeans didn't ship iron over from Europe. There's iron in North America. Like, I don't know what you're talking about there. So we did kind of recover here. Is there something... So basically, I'm trying to decide right now if tonight's session, do we want to... Wait, what is this? How did I miss a war between Great Britain and Germany? Ugh. Well, I wouldn't have been able to add a war goal to it anyway. I think tonight, I think we will start the... He probably means the natives didn't exploit iron mines. Yeah, but... So they for all you know, they would have eventually. Like, you don't know that. Like, you're basically saying they would have been stuck in time the rest of history, and I don't really know what that's based on. The Sweden run. No, the Colombia run. We're doing Colombia next. Sweden, I'm doing a starting steps video series that I'm hoping to release starting next week. I think we will call the Serbia run here just because we're dealing with some... It would be nice to start a run that includes all the hot fixes. This hasn't included them. So that would be nice. So yeah, I think that's what we'll do. So that'll be it for the session right now. And our Serbia run here, we did okay, I guess. This was our first run in National Awakening, so we learned quite a bit from it. But I think we'll start the new session tonight instead of waiting for Thursday. So we'll start with Colombia. Yeah, Peter, make me proud. I will, my friend. I will. Still 1928. Well, 1921 here. But yeah. So that'll be it for right now. But I'll be back on tonight at 8:30. So that starts in about 7 hours from now. But yeah, that'll be it for now. Say goodbye to Serbia. And we start fresh next in New Granada, going into Colombia. So, yeah, thank you, everybody. Great, interesting little debate we had at the end here, but, yeah, what an overwhelming chat today. Yeah, it really got there at the end there. But, yeah, I'll see everybody tonight. And as always, Be awesome. I'll see you guys tonight. Bye.